everybody. Welcome to what's going to become a new part of my video series. And this time I'm going to focus as the game called Dawn of Man. And just to immediately start with some disclaimer. As you can see, it's that the title has the A in the word of man, but general consensus is that it actually had to be an E, as in multiple human beings or mankind. So I will use the same title in my video series. Don't blame me for the wrong spelling, because as you can see, it's not my fault. Anyway, we're going to do a complete new game. And I will start a free play at Continental Dawn. We get several locations to pick from. Usually Twisty River, no, Forest River is my starting area because I just love it. It has a nice area to settle down. At one bank, it has a big area at the other bank, which eventually I could use it to settle down. But I can also use it to gather my resources, hunting and whatever. So that's one thing. Mountains are pretty nearby with resources I need for that area. So yes, all in all, it's a pretty nice spot to start at. And over time, it really has grown as my favorite. We have other as the location I could choose as the settlement name, but no, I don't feel like that. Location is set game mode normal. So I could go harder because I have been playing it, but I prefer normal, especially for a video series. I want to show you how this game can be enjoyed, and let's just say that being frustrated about how a game is going may be very amusing for you, because I'm one of those people who can express that. But at the same time, at some point when I'm just nagging along about things not working right and whatever, it may become boring and nobody will actually see the end, even if there's an end, depending on how I feel. So normal mode, starter conditions. I have two options. Settled. Start with few structures and resources. Basically, settled means I get okay, I need to spoil some things. I get 2 tents. I get the crafting area, and if not mistaken, I get 1 or 2 drop-off points for stone and wood, and that's it. Disadvantage: with the usual setup I have in mind, this won't work. My other option is Nomad. I do get extra resources, which means in general more food, but I prefer that even on this setting, and even if I don't move much from the area where you would start with settled. But I prefer this because the layout I have in mind can be set up like this. So let's go. That's a very important tip, and we will get to that. Pause. Now, let's zoom out because there's a lot to show to start with. First of all, we have my settlers here. And no, and I will show you which is what. As you can see, I have to use WASD keys for moving, but more important, pivoting is done from the camera point of view and not from the people. It is absolutely third person. So what we have here is one adult man, two adult men, an adult woman, another adult woman. So basically that's, let's say, two couples. We got Gramps, even though his name is different, but we got Gramps, and we've got a little girl and a little boy. So at the start you got a real balanced group for adults, and what's important with the adults is they can carry weapons, clothing. Those free slots are set, but also a few other slots for more items. In general, they have 3 or 4, I think they have 4 items slots to transport stuff, plus 1 clothing and 1 weapon. Gramps has 1 less, and children only have 1 for the clothes and 1 for what they carry. Now, in the inventory, cured meat. I can't make that yet, I have to discover that. But that's a food source. We have a biface, which is a hand tool, more or less something like a knife, but in this case they use it for all kind of stuff. Not only cutting, also stabbing things. Of course, the skin's outfit, and she has dry skin. Dry skin is a resource which can be used for clothing and other things. Similar to this lady, dry skin, cured meat, cloth, biface, and a wooden spear. And as you can see, it got a certain degree, just like the biface, by the way. But it's very low. Plus, she has flint, another resource. So does he. He's got another thing, wooden harpoon, basically fishing weapon because it's crap for fighting, and 2 skins. And the girl got food. He got, I think we already had that. So that's my current, well, let's call them team. This is the area they're going to live in. And that's going to be a possible problem. Now, I can order them to build things. Starting residence, tent, and I have to learn to be careful with my stuff. I need to check something first, which has to do with my later expansion in mind. So yes, tree line is going to be my residence. I can order them to build a tent. Each tent, as you can see with the arrow is where the entrance is. And I forgot which one we have over there. But we have two kinds. One with a small stick opening the entrance and one with the entrance rolled up. My usual setup to make sure there's enough room is doing this. Now, the nice part, if I was smart enough to use shift, the nice part of all of this, I need 3 of them. Each tent will eventually have 3 slots. I need 4 sticks and 2 dry skin. And my population has 6 dry skin. So I'm able to build 3 tents to start with. That's number 1. That's not all. I also need storage. I already showed the storage tent. I'm not going to touch that yet. Because if I do, they may actually drop off like 3 dry skins here, 1 here, 2 there, 1 here, and they will eventually build a storage tent and a normal tent. Then I'm running out of dry skin. I have to produce that, and we'll come to that later. There's no way to produce it, and I'm screwed. Winter comes and my population dies off because it's too cold for them to survive. So, not like that. What I do need too is the wood. Oh, hang on, I need to do something else first. That's what I need. I need to make this one is going to be removed actually later. But I have to set up my crafter because with it I can determine where my storage area will be. 1, and those can be put more close. I will later set up what's needed, and the same is going to be done for my rock pile. The advantage, I don't need that much room in between those. So that's done. Then, like I said, we have the production. First of all, the campfire, although it has a more fancy name, which I always have a problem pronouncing, but I think it's hearth. I need that at some point, and it also needs fuel. And because it's a production facility, but related to food, I will later place it here. The crafter I just showed is going to work to make sure we got these items. The skins dryer is something we need because that one will make sure that we got the dry skins which we need for tents and stuff. There's a lot more, but everything that's not lit up I won't discuss. Finally, we have some spiritual buildings, starting with a skull pole, which is, yeah, okay, you could call it something like a tombstone, and its main purpose is to restore moods. So that's the building part. The next thing is planting, but we don't have anything yet. So what else we have? Work areas. Work areas are, I need to size it. No, I don't need to size it up. Simply what it says, areas used to have people entering it and pick up items. And in this case, I want them to pick up sticks. I want to pick 2 sticks. Sorry, 2 persons, and I want to have a supply of 20 sticks. That's it. I can remove it, I can edit, and I have a special panel for it, which we will access later. But it's not only sticks. There's flint, there's a hunting area, and that's why I like this map, because I will set my hunting area at the other side of the river, knowing, no, keep it here, knowing that animals will quite often pass through here. I will set up a second hunting area at my side of the river, so I keep my village safe. And we have a lot more animals as I thought we had. Then, food source, fish. I don't need, well, actually I do need to extend it. But right now I'm able to cover 2 different fishing grounds. Later we're able to get mud from here, but this is the amount of fish, 100%. I don't know if 100% is 10 fishes or 5 fishes, it's just 100%. So I have set up a fishing ground, and I will do that again here. Yes. This would be enough for me to survive. The one we're doing next is the gathering, and this time we see all those circles coming up. Yeah, I can't move my mouse pointer. Oh, I can. Coming up. Those things are plants I can use together. Thing is, that one will be unlocked with technology. Those won't. They are here to be gathered, but it's seasonal. And if I'm smart enough, I use shift because there's another one here. It's seasonal. So in general, that means everything will be harvested in autumn, being it early autumn or late autumn. They will be harvested in autumn, and after that I don't have anything left. So I will need multiple resources, and using hunting, gathering and fishing, I'm able to fulfill that need. So those are my work areas. Now One thing I'm going to use very often is Primal Vision, because that shows me lots of important information. First of all, anybody related and anything related to my encampment, my settlement, is shown in blue. Food is shown in green. Animals I can hunt and kill are also shown in green. As you can see, animals shown in orange or yellow are, with my current technology, too dangerous. Later technologies will make it easier to hunt. And my age is progressing up to iron, steel age, I'll show you in a bit. We have a red animal over here. That's dangerous ones. Usually means, hey, you attack them and make sure you are very good, because you can die. Here's another one. This is the price of a hunting mammoth. We have some gray formations here. This and the one up here. And later I'll actually have to go up there. Is flint, and it's needed. Which reminds me, it's needed for my first set of tools. First few sets of tools actually. So I need to collect that. Then we have this very big, I don't know what color it is, bluish stone. We need those for megalith, which are big ancient buildings, really big ancient buildings. So that's that. This is a flint mine, and I can harvest it in two ways. One is, once I have pickaxes, simply mining the top. Later I get mining technology and I can actually get more out of it. We have copper ore. We have a birch tree, but that's not what I wanted. Tin ore, copper and tin for bronze, and that's going to help me get through 1H. Once again, I have to make some decisions at some point, because I'm able to move to the Bronze Age, and the question is, before that I have Copper Age, and will I go to copper, or will I basically skip copper, keep on using the tools I have until I'm able to unlock Bronze Age and do the Bronze Age immediately? If I pick Copper Age, I will have to use a lot of copper. We got several mines. I mean, two here, that's number 3, and there are a couple more over here. So it's not really a big problem, but from one of my playthroughs I learned that skipping Copper Age and keeping points moving on to Bronze Age is just as beneficial, because there's barely any difference between copper and bronze weapons and tools. Here we have a cave bear. Finally, we have iron ore, and we're going to need that for the last age, plus very important weapons and stuff. So that's one part. That's all this. Then we have the manage. First of all, stats. Now I'm switching over to the F keys, making things easier for me. Welfare 100%. Well, description says all. So read for yourself. No, but it's basically telling how well you're doing. The more food you have, the more clothes you have, the more shelter you have, but even the better kind of shelter you have. It's all important. If I'm in Iron Age and my people are still living in tents, my welfare would be lower. It's that simple. They prefer to live in stone houses at that time, not tents. So, but it's more important the migrant arrival frequency and birth rate. I've had games where I think I actually was streaming that on Discord, where at some point all but one of my women were pregnant. All but one. And I made the calculation and I realized I'm short 2 houses. So I had to build houses, otherwise I had a population problem, welfare going down because I was lacking the housing. Children have their own spot in housing. They don't live with their parents, they have their own spot in housing. So, yep. That's how welfare can influence a game. Prestige, population, buildings, technology, and also affect immigration, just like migrant arrival. It's the same thing. So a high prestige and a high welfare, and you have a lot of people coming in. Lower it for whatever reason, so I can actually influence things. When I notice, hey, my food stocks are going down, I have the technologies and the workforce to deal with more population, but right now I can't feed that population because I don't have the food yet, but I am planting the grains and everything else. But it will take a year before I can actually sustain that population. Then I can simply remove some things and drop my prestige a little bit, so the immigration will actually drop. Downside, trader will also drop, but I have, at some point I'm not really sure if a trader is needed. We'll see when he arrives. I got 7 population, 1 male and 1 female child, in this case children, 2 male adults, 2 male females, where we saw that, 1 male elderly and 1 female elderly. And everybody works until they die. No retirement fund, no moving to Florida because it's nice and sunny, or for Europeans moving to Spain because it's nice and sunny. No, you work until you die. And it will happen. We will see it happen. People dying on the spot. You're warned. Animals, they all have their purpose. Total number, we have doggies, cattle, we have animals needing shelter or don't needing shelter, and then in specific, doggies, cattle, goats, donkeys, sheep, horse, and piggies. I won't use all of them because, again, some aren't really needed. Maybe at some point I will collect a few simply to give an idea, but cattle is meat and milk. A goat is meat and milk, except cattle needs more food. Donkeys and horses can do the same thing. There isn't actually a difference between the two. The only thing is you unlock donkeys before horses. Sheep are useful because you need the wool. Piggies is only food. Nothing else. That's why. And last but not least, attachments. And that's another thing I need to mention. Sorry for the naming you see here once in a while. The studio wasn't English. And just like the title, some translation errors have been made. I mean, cattle, it would have been better to name them cows. Attachment is, yeah, okay. Technically speaking, you didn't really attach them, they were pulled. But we have a sledge, or a sleigh if people prefer that, used for transport goods. We have carts, used for transporting goods. We have the rolling megalith, also used for transporting goods, except in this case only a worked megalith, stone. And we have a plow. So it's something I can set. Then with F3, my entire resource list. I won't hover over it, but this is everything I can have over time and everything I can collect over time, but also everything I have right now. So we see 7 cured meat and nothing else. 7 clothing, nothing else. Some flint. 6 dry skins, nothing else. So it's nice in order about clothing, materials, tools, for spears, for biface, and harpoon, that's it. So yep, and as you can see, it goes up in color because that's different materials. Spears, knife, harpoons or fishing gear, axes, sickle, pickaxe, swords, bow, shields, and sling. And personally, I'd say sling should be a bow, but it's a range weapon. So resources, limits, and this is one I have to take a look at. Unlimited vegetables, fish, all fish, so either fresh and cured. Meat limited to 100. Flour and breads, I actually like to have those up. Unlimited milk, we got some cheese, water, beer. I usually set this 50, 100% of population. So currently, if I was able to collect it, I would have 7 water. And that goes for the beer as well. Clothing, I set clothing always. Yep, to 125% of population, or in case of armor, the 125% of adults. I do that because everything I use is getting damaged. So at some point effectiveness is 0 and it's gone. If I set it to 100% and I'm lacking dry skin, I have people running around naked, which okay isn't really a problem because in summertime you will see they will take off part of the clothes anyway, but I may create a downward spiral, being shit, I lack clothing, and my population goes from harvesting to hunting to get the skins so they can make dry skin. And as a result, I don't have to adjust this number yet, but I have to keep an eye on that. They will drop harvesting and go hunting so they can make dry skin. And because of that, I'm unable to harvest enough grains or vegetables. And vegetables is also fruits from trees. And as a result, they get hungry. So instead of dying from the cold, which they can more or less compensate by moving inside a tent or a house, they die from starvation because they skipped what they were doing, the harvesting, moved to hunting, which is often far away, and because of that, by the time they got back, the harvest is done, etc., etc. So by setting up 125% of my population, I will always be sure that in case clothing is gone, they can walk over to a storage house, pick up some new and continue what they were doing. And after that, creation of clothing and maybe dry skin will be put in the list, but it will be dropped near the bottom of what to do and goes up on the list by the time harvesting is done. So it's the safe way to make sure my population survives. I mean, technically speaking, everybody has multiple clothing, and we don't run to a shop in our underwear simply because our jeans got so old you burst it out when bending over. We have the clothing in a closet. We have more as 100% of our needs at home. And shops have more as 100% of our needs in the shop. That's why the 125%. Besides, you don't want to see everybody run around in their underwear, but that's a different thing. As for materials, I won't be able to collect logs until we have access, but sticks, yeah, 20 pieces, I will need them. I need them to build, I need them to craft, and I need them, oh wait, no, 20 stuff. I need them for fire. I also need logs for fire, but once I'm able to start cutting down trees, that's something I can deal with. Flint, 10 pieces at the start, yeah. Stone, I don't need that many. I need them later when I start to build houses, and at that point I have better ways to collect them anyway. So I set it as 5. Right now I only need it for one thing, and that one thing is campfire. Bones, yeah, at some point I will actually have too many. Excuse me for a moment. I need bones for, at some point I need them for tools, I need them for construction of the totem and some other stuff, skull pole, I mean, and other stuff. But eventually my population won't even pick them up, and the only thing I can use them for is some sort of currency, because things are actually traded, not money wise, but I give you a chicken and you give me a bag of wheat, things like that. So raw skin 20 maximum, dry skin 20 maximum. It should be enough. Later I'm able to create leather for the leather outfit, but I also need tannin for that, so low. Straw is always unlimited. I want to have as many as possible for my housing to feed animals. Mud, yeah, I think I can do with 15. Wool, let's see, linen is the same thing. Linen outfit. So I need it for that, and I need it for weapons. We've got the wool and the linen cloth. Charcoal, something we will produce. I have enough with 10. Charcoal and the metals similar. I need 10 of each. It's enough. Only early game I will need more, but 10 is enough at some point when all the tools are made. New ones, the old ones will be replaced by newer versions, as long as I keep an eye on it anyway. And it's not really that important to how to mention it, to stockpile lots and lots of ores and bars simply to have enough to build the rest, because not all my swords will become, well, they may become obsolete, but they aren't useless. My bronze swords aren't useless when I switch to iron swords. They're just obsolete, so they will be replaced by iron swords when I need another sword, and not all at once. So this'll do. Tools. Spears. 100% of adults. That's actually enough. I think 50% will do, because I don't need everybody using a spear. I want them, especially for hunting, use other tools as well. I want them for fighting, use other things as well. So 50% adults. Knives, similar. Not everybody going hunting needs a knife. Axes, ditto. Harpoons, ditto. I don't need everybody to use a harpoon, because eventually they're going to swap things. They drop it in a tent, and a guy who was chopping trees will drop the axe in the tent and pick up a harpoon if he wants to go fishing. If I have 100% of adults for this, that one will stay at 75. But if I have 100% of adults, I will simply cluster a lot of slots in tents and storage tents, that's other store my warehouses, with items I don't use. And I noticed, especially with clothing, with the change of season, these are winter clothing, this is summer clothing. At some point they won't pick up a leather outfit which is at 50% of its durability. When there's 100% nearby, they pick up the 100. Similar as to what we do, you don't pick the very old jeans when you have new ones hanging next to it in your closet. You pick the new ones. That's happening here too. That's happening with the tools. If I make 100% adult spears and other stuff, then at some point a lot of what I've been making is simply rotting away. And maybe it's my Dutch blood, I don't know, but it's a waste. It's a waste of materials, it's a waste of time. My population can use the time to do other stuff. So by keeping those numbers down to 50% of my population, I will make sure that they have more time for other things instead of creating weapons and tools. Sickle is actually my only exception, and that's because I want to use as many people as possible for harvesting. The more people are harvesting, the sooner my grain is harvested, my berries are harvested, my peas are harvested, and with that food resource being safe, they can spend time to other stuff. But I want my harvest off the fields as fast as possible. Simple as that. So pickaxe 50%, not everybody needs a mine. Bows are used for fighting and hunting, and given that I have 50% bows, 50% of my adults are using a spear, I can send out everybody on hunting and everybody will be able to do damage. In case of fighting, same for the sling, but in case of fighting, 50% of my population is using a bow, 50% is using a sword of my adults, and that 50% is using a shield as well. So 100% of my adults are able to fight, and I get a nice split in ranged and melee, making things easier. Easier to gain victory, because it's very hard to defeat a bowman when you have to walk through a hail of arrows, but it's very easy to defeat a swords fighter when he has to run towards you through your hail of arrows, or in case of sling, rocks. So the attachments: 10 sledges, 10 carts, 10 plows, and that's more than enough. I think I was actually using 5 in my stream, so I'll do that first. Animals, here we go. Goats, I used 10. Sheep as well, because I need some time, some point stables, and this is already 20 spots in the table. I won't do pigs. There's an even number 4, because not very useful. 10 cows, 5 donkeys. No, because they can't breed when they're hitched. So eventually 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 for animals. Everything above the number will be butchered. Limits. Milestones. This is a nice one. Every time I get to a certain point, I get a milestone. 3 units of raw meat and 3 units of berries. And I have the hunting and gathering. Survive 2 years, survival. Humble beginnings, that's unlocking an area. Expansion, certain number of people, and so on. This is basically the last one. This is one of the hardest. So, crap, I need 10 goats. At least. Oh, I have 10 goats. Defense. That's the fun part. As soon as I alert. No, I keep it like this. As soon as I hunt on alert, you see everybody running back. Later, when I have walls and a gatehouse, I close all gates and it's fun to see. Then we have technology. This is going to be a very fun one. We have, and sorry for all the mispronunciations, Paleolithic area. That's where we start in. And we continue to the Mesolithic, Neolithic, then Copper Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age. Those first three areas are basically prehistorical. It's historic wise, yeah, okay, my mistake. The point where people went from hunter-gatherer to farmer, and to the point where they start building cities. So I'm able to unlock different kind of weapons. The sling, we got the food drying at some point. We have doggies, training and domestication, the tanning and funerary rituals. To move on to the next era, I have to unlock pottery. That's 15 knowledge points. It's actually easy. It sounds like a lot, but it's pretty easy. The real problem starts here. To move from to Copper Age and Bronze Age after. That is harder because it's getting harder and harder to get the points you need. Pottery, and from pottery, and that's another thing I need to think about, but bone polishing and stone polishing. So all of a sudden I'm able to make flint items. These are really primitive things, composite tools, but here comes the fun part. A bone harpoon, a bone spear is basically just as effective as a flint spear. And I have lots of bones, so it's easier sometimes to stick to bone spear and move on until I get to the Copper Age, and at that point start working for a copper spear, or get to Bronze Age and actually start using bronze spears. I will skip the bone spear and actually start using flint. But that's the thing how it works. Everything else is going simple. And we have the same thing over here. We get weaving at some point. There are things you really wonder, okay, do I need it now? Or don't I? And I am able to build grain processing and pulse processing. It means I can harvest. I can't plant them yet. Neolithic is the farming age. I can start with cereal domestication. That's the point that I can actually start planting cereals, etc. So I will make decisions and I will say things, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this, and next session completely abandon it and do something else. Because the game changes. You can't use the same path at all times. Eventually, I will have to unlock everything. But like I said, if I'm able to make copper, spear, axe, pickaxe, knife, sickle, and 20 knowledge points later, I am able to unlock the Bronze Era and make the same things from bronze, plus the bronze sword as well, then it's a waste of time to actually keep going with the bronze weapons, the copper weapons, but instead do bronze. That means that all we have here may have to be abandoned. However, another thing I can do is do these first and simply make nothing from bronze. It makes me somewhat weaker and I will have to deal with raiders, but those come with weapons and I can actually, if they're better as I am, I can use the copper weapons they have. If they're worse as I am, they will come with bone or flint spears, and there's no use for me to keep their weapons, and I will sell them. So things will change. But Copper Age, Bronze Age, Iron Age are big steps, and this area is really the point where I have to figure out what is going to become my priority. Up to here, my priorities are more or less food and better equipment. Now we have more. To start with my domestic animals, it's basically the same thing as my human tree. My doggies, and it tells how many females, young, adults, old, how many males, and that goes for all of them. My charge, currently nothing, and workload is important. The activity, everybody's unproductive, which makes it simple. Subsisting is always something to keep an eye on. Unproductive is okay because they are also resting. Subsisting, however, those are slacking. I don't want that. We have the task, active, pending, workload 83%. It will go up because I set a hunting area, I set area to collect sticks and flint, so it will go up. My knowledge process, and here we have the problem. 1. Everything in grey doesn't exist yet. Those animals will... feral horse, that's also the wrong expression. We have donkeys, we have horses, and feral, it means aggressive. I think it's either domesticated more like, or it's a different kind of horse, but feral itself, no. The grey ones aren't really here yet. They unlock at a certain age. At the same time, we have cave bear. At some point they become extinct, so I can't hunt them. Currently, hunting 1 gives me 2 knowledge points, but the less you get, the less you have, and the less knowledge you get, and that goes for tents and other stuff too. You get knowledge points for certain benchmarks like 10 or 100 or 5 or 50, I don't know all of them, but it will slowly, the curve will go down because I need more knowledge points, and simply building simply building, okay, I need 25 knowledge points, so let's build 25 tents. Yeah, it's a way, but it doesn't work like that. Because you also need, the thing is, at some point, the population starts using those tents. Or the houses or whatever. And like I said, if I don't need them, and I have a better building instead of a tent, like the hut, then they want to live in a hut. And if I build 25 tents while I don't need them, they still want me to upgrade those tents to huts. Yes, I get the knowledge point for the huts, but it's so much time you need. Resources are the easiest one, but like I said, the further you progress, the more you need. So I will get the first one at 10 meat, and everything is easy, but yeah, the more you get, the more you will need for another resource point. And that's why I said that this and this is going to become a lot harder as the first 3 groups. It's that simple. And I think structures, 3 residents, 4 storage, and this will slowly go up with numbers. Hang on. And the number of megalith. This is a fun part because at some point we will start working at this piece of stone and it's considered a resource. Then I have to manually go over there and give the assignment to turn the one which is worked at into a rolling one, and all of a sudden it moves from here to there, and at the same time we have a structure here standing demanding an X amount of megalith. I think that was it. No, the work areas. I basically never use those. This is what we have. 2 hunting, 2 fishing, 3 gathering for food items, and 1 for sticks, 1 for flint. So that's 1 hour of introduction. Let's get out of this because I don't need the colors anymore. Oh, and they're immediately moving. And that wasn't what I had in mind. Because there's one more thing we need. Starting with my resources. I put them grouped. I have 3 options left, 3 options to the right. I set them grouped so we have things order. Food, materials, weapons / tools, clothing. The other one is my population. It's basically what we have here. And now it says we have a 200% workload. No, wait, I was going to move. That and my animals. Should I put my food? Yeah. Food chart. And the last one. Workload. This side I keep him. Defense and speed. And like I said, this one moved up to 200% because we have jobs added. Build wood pile, build rock pile, collect sticks, bedding, hunting a reindeer, hunting an ibex, fishing, gather flint, and build the 3 tents. So they're going to be busy. And the ibex is because it was here in what is still, that is, it was in the hunting zone. It's moving out now, but it was there. And probably here as well. We need the sticks for the housing, etc., etc. So as you can see, they drop the food. They drop the food and some skins. Those 2 said, hey, let's go hunting. And every time you hear them saying something like oh and aha and yay and things like that, it's because they finished. So I keep my mouth shut for a bit. Now, Rockpile. And that's going to be normal because we don't have any tents. But Rockpile is able to hold flint, normal stone, and I will have to collect those manually, charcoal, copper, tin and iron. Woodpile, able to hold sticks and logs. Now I don't need logs. Pending 3 sticks, there's already 1. There's our mammoth. I won't hunt it, it's too dangerous. One of the disadvantages of this game, well, there's some list. First of all, I was afraid of that. So my guys are actually walking here. The reindeer was going too fast, so they won't be able to capture it. And they're a long way off, getting tired and all. As you can see, stamina is dark. Both have probably spear and pie face, but they won't be able to hunt it. Same with the donkey. So I have to let them go for a while, but it will take some time before they are back. And that's one of the disadvantages. Another one, they will drop everything in spots you don't want it. Which means, yes, I know, which means they will drop things in houses. They're feeling cold, they're walking into a tent because they're cold. Now that's better. This means it has to be butchered. And that's the Asian bison. Somebody else has to come over to butcher it, and my guess is one of those 2 guys who were hunting over there. Because that's what this game is about. Being really ineffective. Like the kid dropping off the sticks here, and then somebody else comes over to pick the sticks up and take it back to the tent. They will, as I was explaining, they will actually drop everything. It's winter time. Ugh, I'm cold. I'm carrying a log, so I'm going in the tent. I drop the log in the tent and heat up. Usually you think after that to go. I heard an animal. usually you think after that, okay, so I have to take the log to the woodpile. No, they don't. It keeps stored in the tent. Somebody else needs a log for fueling a fire, and instead of taking it out of the tent, it moves to the moved woodpile and pick up a new log. That kind of effectiveness. He's going to woodpile to pick up some materials and drop it somewhere, probably where I don't want it. Hopefully. No, he's going to take it to this one instead of that one. But it's still dropping between 150 and 200, and I want to have it below 150%. Same time, we got one bone, 10 meat, 1 fish. And probably going hunting. Yep. It's gathering sticks. Now it's white. Things are getting better. It is getting sticks. Yes, I know. Jeez. I can't turn it off. But it's freaking annoying. I mean, I'm starting out, so I know I'm running out of storage slots. Yet, I get that warning over and over again. So, let's see, with that in mind, I will actually do it this. The priority is on this one right now. But with that in mind, starting out as Nomad is a little bit more annoying. Because, yeah, with good, too bad. We have one knowledge point. Starting out as a nomad is annoying because you get those warnings about no storage slots, and like I said, I can't disable them. As soon as this one is built, that warning is gone, at least for a moment. Not long, but it's gone for a moment. Speed. I don't need speed. I think this is better. And I don't need to work. Load, but it's easier to do this one. So my priority, 10th. My next priority is the skin drying rack. Now watch what happens. They're going in, dump, dump. They dump everything in the 4 slots. And later structures have more people slots. I'm able to keep 3 persons in a tent. So that's the good part. But now here's the fun part. We have a rock pile. Or better said, we have 2 rock piles. And what do? They dump the flint in a tent. We got freaking 20, no, 10 room over here. But they dump it over there. Also, flint. And another knowledge point. 10 sticks, 1 knowledge. 10 meat, 1 knowledge. 10 fish, 1 knowledge point. And so forth. And, 8, I think it was. Yeah. 10 population, 3 knowledge points. Raiders is something later, animals later. But we need some items, and that's the fun part. Everything I started with is not being taken into account. So raw skin, like you see, everything starts with 10. But we currently have the kids going in 2 sticks. I will actually keep the sticks and the flint out. I used to do this a lot in... Okay, so you don't want to drop it there. Drop it there. I used to do this a lot in the single player game. I'm not going to do that in the stream. Doing it once to show what I can do. Drop the stuff off. Now you can go for a drink. And this is okay. Now let's see what she's doing. If she's going to... She is going to drop it off in the tent. I also need the campfire. Two stone. Gather and gather. He won't do that. He's gone fishing. Sticks. No, you're not going to get. Oh, maybe going to eat. Here we go again. And sticks are dropped in the tent. Quite often, when I give them an order to pick something up, they drop it off at the spot where it's needed. That's the fun part. Does it always work? Raw skin. Ah, from the hunted animal. But sometimes I really have to send them where they have to be. Hey, Gramps, pick up that one, please. Drop them off over there, please. Now I'm starting to get my production items. I can actually build that. Eating. Great. And this is the nice part. She's full, so she starts to drop it off in the tent. Same with him. And that way I'm able to stockpile some things. But I have to be careful with the workload because it's almost end of spring. Almost there. See? Nee, nee. Gotcha.
Zo.
Now, flint in here.
Helaas.
That in the tent. A very high. It's summertime. So she decided to take some things off.
Kwam.
So did he. And the kid isn't yet, but I'm starting to store my clothing here. As you can see the bars already. Hey. The bar of the clothing was already going back to the left, so what I need them to do is start building, because my food is going down. What the heck? Ah, yeah, okay, no problem. It's probably on the floor. Yep. Now, they have been getting berries, going to the tent, so they will drop the berries, the fruit in here, and immediately drop off the clothing. Hopefully, come on, work. Hopefully, they will finish the tent. So they were actually able to drop off everything else. Hey, fish, there. Lots and lots of workload. Collecting sticks, collecting food. Lots of collecting food. The 2 stone, flint, more sticks. It'll become a little bit easier over time. Hopefully one of them is smart enough to do this, because after that I can set up the crafter and I can actually use some time to settle things down. I have 9 housing slots right now, 3 in each tent. 7 population, sorry, here, 7 population, capacity 9, so at some point I have to check stats. We will see, I will check this every once in a while. And at some point we'll see that they will be pregnant. Also, as you can see, my welfare dropped to 67%. So it has to go up, but that has all to do with this. We have 5 knowledge. And for that, I'm going to unlock food drying. The next one will be, I don't know yet, food drying. Basically tells what it is, which I can tell you as well. Food drying. And that's going to be one of my most important structures early game. Plus our first milestone, you don't see squat, but it is unlocked. This is easier. We have 3 units of raw meat and 3 units of berries accumulated, gathered. Already 2 knowledge points again. As you can see, it's going up now. It will be better and better and better. Let's take some times. And the next one, a reindeer. So, say, of course, there's another reindeer, and that one escaped. Sorry, Rudolph. The mammoth will become available once I have better weapons. What I'm going to do, I don't know how long I can go on, but first episode, let's see if I'm able to add another 15 minutes. Should be possible. He's going for the campfire. Hey. Dropping off the berries in one of the tents, most likely. Or going to eat. Also, that's running. It'll take some time, but that's running. Which means as soon as I have that, I can actually consider to get the crafter. But like I said, if I do too much at once right now, my workload keeps high up and it doesn't work. In both ways of speaking. At some point it needs to calm down. And I found out in my single player games and in the time when I was streaming that using the end of autumn when they did the harvesting and winter to build things, it's easiest. Spring is for planting, summer is for gathering and harvesting lots of stuff. Those are the busiest times. Autumn is busy for harvesting. Winter time is easy, so I'm going to use winter and a little bit autumn, a little bit spring to expand the village. So right now I let it go, and once autumn starts and they aren't able to collect stuff anymore and the workload is dropping, I may actually start build the crafter. And until then, it's simply too fast. There's too much to do. Especially all that hunting is taking some time. But worse, it's also pulling my people out of the village. And I can actually, maybe I should do that. Cancel the task. And then of course they wander into the village again. But things have to settle down a bit. And the first 1 or 2 years, like she's getting the stone. It's only one. It's right there and it's not picked up because she was going to sticks. But the first 2 years are simply demanding a lot of my population. In some games it's easier, in some games it's more complicated. The first years are simply demanding a lot. I don't think there's actually a method to keep my workload below 150% unless I start manually ordering them, and I don't want to do that. I prefer this. So we just have to endure this. Ah, that's done. Another thing, based upon the amount of food we have, my minimum is going up. It used to be 0 and currently it's at 15. That's the average, probably over all time. Or it's half of my amount, but it's probably what I need. Well, at the same time, I noticed 12 and 2 and 14 is 28 and not 30. Okay. So my food stocks are going up, and that's always a good thing. Perhaps, no, let's go do that. Um, Still no pregnant ones. And this is going down, 62. Yeah, because that's still up. It'll drop. Yeah, really, lady, you're hungry. So move over to the tent and get food. I think she's eating now.
Hey, Bruce.
Once that campfire is done, they will quite often pick up food from the tent and later the granary and move to the campfire and sit down over there. The campfire is also the spot where a trader will arrive. And we get a similar kind of alarm. Don't go there, Gramps. Drop it here. Mom. Oh, man. That's what I meant about pathing. Because he's going to take it here. Then later it's being picked up and transported there. But we will see people moving to the campfire once it's burning. And sit down and eat. The trader will arrive here as well. So when we get this annoying big bang about, oh, she was eating it, telling us that the trader has arrived, at that point, when I click on it, we will be directed this way. Now, five knowledge points. So we're going to unlock this one because doggies, well, they're fun. Slowly. At some point we will have a dog showing up here. I don't get a message or anything. But at some point we will notice. Here we go again. They were collecting nuts and they can't drop it because some fool dropped the berries in the wrong tent. And you're not going to do that. So we have berries in 2 different tents. See? So Gramps took it there, now he's going to pick it up to bring it here. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's programming. Nothing I can do about it. For now, I need grain processing, but at some point I'm able to build bread here. Bake bread here, not build. And at that point, things are going better. At that point, I also have a granary, I think. Prepare several breads at once. We have 100% condition and fuel is about 50%. Which means, no, it's still going down. Prestige is going up, but this is going down because of that still having too many tasks. Those are buggers. Sooner or later, those buggers will attack children for sure. So as you can see, fish 10 point, meat 10 point, berries, fruits, later nuts, the 10 in. Every time you reach 10 at the start, get points. I need 2 more 10s and I get a point. Some things I won't actually do free. I mean, there's no need in free skin dryer even now. The next one is 100. So, yeah, I will get that on meat and fish. No doubt. Just need 3 more. One short. And look at that. My first doggy. Won't do much yet. I know it's my doggy because it moved in a city, like it's already said. It won't do much yet, but over time it helps. So my next point of knowledge will be this, because at that point dogs start helping hunting. After that I will go for the sling. Or tanning. I have to check. Because I have no idea what's actually required. Yeah, but if they're stupid to drop cured meat in the wrong tent. Really stupid. Yeah, I said 20 flint. Never mind. And with that I have built almost, not all, almost everything. I need a storage tent and I need to build sculpt hole. I will do that later. Sculpt hole's going to be last. Again, for a very simple reason. I need it for morale, but I don't want to waste my dry skin on something that I don't need immediately. I will need a crafter. I need the tools. Once the crafter is done, I will have to upgrade, or not upgrade, but I need to collect a little bit more clothing. Either one or two. I also miss one person having clothing. We currently have 3 dried skins here. I need 2 more. There he is. So he's going to the food dryer. That's going to be something that's going on forever. I miss a lot of meat. Dry skin. It's raining, but it's still dry skin. This is what happened. Decay on everything. So she will probably. Why is he going to? She was going to get dry fruit. Some fruit. Now she's going back. Get a boar. Okay. We also have. And I will stop in a few minutes. We also have fish being dried at the moment. Food dry can have 10 items. So we have 4 fishes and 1 meat. Skins, right? Yeah, I got skins. Let get the fruit. I'll simply kick those sticks out of the tent. I also built the wrong one here, but that's not a problem. Everything should calm down now. Yeah, only fishing, flint gathering and still hunting. Everything is calming down at the moment, which is a good thing. But the only thing... Hang on. Imka has to go building. Ah, okay, she is. Now I will set this one. It's going to drop off. Yep. Jesus. Oh no, wait. I'm going to do it differently this time. wait until the craft is done, and that's it for today. And this is basically the reason why they are so busy with everything. As you can see, our food supply is dwindling right now. Oh, I need to check the materials. Let's hope I picked the right one.